you know, that's a very interesting story. So we are driven by our needs. This is the basic levels of desire. Now, you probably have heard of Maslow, Abraham Maslow. He does a hierarchy of needs. And he develops this pyramid and he develops this long list. But you only need to know 4 levels of desire from the Vedic sages 6,000 years ago. They already wrote that all human beings are bundles of desire. We all are motivated by desire. You're a bundle of desire. Doesn't that sound interesting? I've been told that, right? But think about it. And there are 4 levels. So, you know, our needs are basically instinctive, management, you know, sex, food, basic stuff. You said survival of a business, duty, purpose. Absolutely. Corporations have to survive. They have to make sure they have positive cash flow. You can have negative, you know, earnings like Amazon had for tons of years, but positive cash flow, how did they supplement it? They sold more stock. And now they're finally profitable. But you know, that's part of survival. Wars, that's the step 2 type thing. But the influences, that's another thing. That's the ads I talked about. Marketing. See, it's a very subliminal thing. You notice how much you see on the ads for drugs? Restless leg syndrome. You ever heard of that? I've always been restless, my legs since I was born. Babies have such lessons. You start giving the babies drugs because they have restless legs. See, that's what they would love to see. Viagra, you know. They have all kinds of things. They appeal to you and appeal to external. So if you are driven there, you're the weakest there. If you're influenced by that, then you have no control. You can't live with purpose. Because you're serving the purpose of everybody. You're really becoming a takee. No fun in being a takee. After you listen to this, you won't want to be a takee. You think about it, you know about it, you read about it, and you want it. And this is intuitive. This is what meditation takes you into a totally different realm. If you read the work of Houston Smith about opening the doors of perception, he was one of the, he's a professor at Berkeley, but one of the students in Timothy Leary's experiment on drugs, psychotropic drugs, if you remember. My son does research in that, so I'm, you know, interacting with him, and my dad was a physician and a researcher in drug addiction. So I'm familiar with that. But this is what that those drugs do to release you. He said you get it. He's a psychiatrist at San Francisco General Hospital. So he has the credentials and he's doing research. So they take you to a separate reality. So I said, Tree, why can't meditation take you there? He said, that's absolutely right. That's how the yogis or the people who meditate, they get to that separate reality because they can actually block out the flow of the current thoughts, and then all kinds of interesting ideas and concepts and visions come in. So he said, you can do it, but it's very difficult. So I said, because that's what I've been doing since 1984. So that is what? 23 years, isn't it? That really ages me, doesn't it? I don't feel young. My dad used to say, you know, he says, be childlike but not childish. Big difference. Big difference. Survival and lust. First thing, corporate survival. First thing, lust, growth, acquisitions, mergers. What do you think those are? Those are all lust. Microsoft is great. Somebody was talking, our students at, sometimes we have our class session at a pizza place. And research on the ethics of ethical audit of Microsoft and Google and compare it. And others are doing drug companies, for example. And these are very interesting current issues. So he said, you know, that the 2 things about Microsoft is that if you have a great idea, the biggest mistake you make is not to go to them. And the second one is if you have a great idea, the biggest mistake you make is to go to them. After we have that, we want to be wealthy. We want the respect of others. And what did Confucius say about respect? Ask not that you be respected, but ask that you be worthy of respect. So we are looking for little stuff and we can go for big stuff. So if you understand your desires, you'll be able to time. What are we doing on time? It is noon already. When you're having fun, I guess time flies. Okay. Service and obligations. So these are 2 desires of taking. These are, again, outside in. I want. These are to serve others. Service and obligation. Freedom and detachment is nirvana. That's basically when you're detached. Now corporations have difficulty. I will tell you one very interesting reason. I finally got to it sometime this year. It came to me. Why is it difficult for corporations to achieve the fourth level? The reason is this. We die. What does that got to do? We have a limited lifespan. So when we know we are approaching that, we want to let go because we know that it's ashes after this, or dust. Unless it's the spirit, you see, we are gone. But corporations, you know what the corporation is? It's perpetual, technically. So they never die. Therefore, they are constantly looking to grow, constantly looking, driven by that. But a not-for-profit, philanthropic corporation, and one case was Tanya Foundation here, they just had such a good time giving away the money, they dissolved themselves by giving away the money. That's detachment, and that's true. No, that's true. They had such a fun, they said, why should we worry about this giving? So that's what the truth is. And some philanthropic organizations that continue to grow, they don't have this drive to do more, they just self-sustain, so they can reach that level. But otherwise, it's difficult for a corporation, I finally admit, to have this level. But it's still there. It's still possible.
Excuse me, can you explain the servant leader, please? Can you explain that?
Yes, very simple. A servant leader is one who serves others. His purposeful leader. One who will explain, who serves the constituents. So you have many constituents. As I said, as a father, as an individual, you are a servant leader if you serve your wife, you serve your parents, you serve your children, and then you serve your friends and your community. And beyond that, of course, if you're talking intuitive, religiously, or God, you serve God. In a corporation, you serve your shareholders. You want to be honest and serve them upfront, state what you can and cannot do and do it. You serve your suppliers, you serve your customers, of course. We say customer is king. Well, serve everyone. You got to serve your employees. Somebody said, want to take care of employees, serve them. That's all part of it, because why should you limit? Because remember, you are not in it alone. You have all these people. You are in the waters. So you must leave the waters better than you found them. You don't want to pollute them. These are metaphor works. If you get stagnated, then you get into stagnant waters. Who wants to come? The water starts stinking. You can't make progress. The idea is to navigate. Navigating is creating value, as usual. And ultimately, the destination is the ocean. Nirvana.